V-Loan! 5 gifted memberships. What a guy. No costume. No costume. Honestly, I forgot, man. Hey, I'm going to be honest with you, man. Just turn the music down. No, we're streaming tonight on playback. I'm going to be honest with you, man. Halloween just kind of came and went for me this year, man. No, I don't really care about Halloween. I aged out of it. But also, Halloween just kind of came and went, man. I mean, Tyler with the $9.99. The Spurs ownership is criminal. Robert Kraft pushed Belichick after 4 losing seasons to have Wemby, and he looks like a bust behind Chet is criminal. Coach Pop should be fired. NBA Biden 2.0. Oh my lord, Pop should be fired. We're shooting that. We're coming that hard off the. We're just firing. All right. Look, some of it is Wemby's fault. I mean, we're gonna talk about Wemby here in a bit. She's not the type she has been. I'm telling you right now, it's because it's 90 degrees outside every day. Like, I'm sorry, it's hard to get into any holiday spirit around this time of the year when it feels like shit outside. That's just the truth. Movie looks miserable posting up. Yeah, we're going to talk about all of that in a second. I agree with you. I was going to stream this on Twitter because it popped up, but I got too scared. No, it was just wonky and I couldn't go up. But maybe tomorrow I stream this on Twitter. I don't know what the fuck that even looks like. It just popped up. Do you want to stream this on Twitter? I was like, I don't know. I've never thought about it. Maybe. All right, we're not messing around. We're getting right into business right now. Open up Audacity and let's go. Twitter does numbers. All right, I'll look into it. No, I mean, I would still stream here, obviously, but let's go. Let's get down to business. Let's drink some water. V-Loan has gifted 5 memberships again. Ratings first. All right, damn. V-Loan's coming. V-Loan wants to produce the show. V-Loan says, I'm giving you 5 subs and I'm producing the show. Hey, I'm brainstorming. These memberships will come in handy. I'm brainstorming some ways to incorporate memberships, mapping it all out. Soon. Maybe by Thanksgiving. Maybe by Thanksgiving we'll have a full membership program. Thanksgiving dinner. Oh, man. That would be funny. Good. Wait, what's the Sabrina news? Hurt hand in game 4 of the WNBA Finals. That would actually make sense. considering her shooting. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is Halloween, October 31st, 2024, 9:46 a.m. Central Standard Time. We're finally getting some fall weather outside in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Hope you guys have a safe Halloween. If you guys are doing anything, be safe, be mindful. Be on the lookout for Jason Bourgeois and Freddy Krueger. Congratulations to the Los Angeles Dodgers winning the World Series last night, 4-1 over the New York Yankees. They win Game 5, 7-6, an epic collapse. Congratulations to the Los Angeles Dodgers. I was rooting for the Yankees. Personally, for me, I will root against the teams that have built super teams. The Yankees built a super team. Yeah, okay, whatever. But the Dodgers really built a super team. But there's nothing wrong with that. Baseball is the only sport where they have successfully brainwashed their viewership and their audience into believing that spending money is bad. So congrats to the Dodgers. Seriously, though, if you own a baseball team, spend money. Spend money, you fucking dweeb. I don't understand how any baseball fan's like, yeah, cool, I root for the Rays, who spent $15 last year on their roster. I hate the Dodgers. Go Rays. You know who I love? What's some other team that doesn't spend any money? I'm about to talk out of my ass. Can you explain this MLB and NBA terms? There is none. There are no NBA terms for the MLB. Like, NBA teams spend money. Well, the A's are different. They're actively, just sabotaging their own team. Matt with the 199. Cavs finishing top 2 in the East? Definitely possible. In fact, I would actually venture to say after a week of the season, they feel clear-cut the second-best team in the East. But also, at the same time, they had that stretch last year. They looked unbeatable. So you never, you don't want to put too much into early season stuff. But all these other Eastern Conference teams have so many different things going on that it's possible. All right, let's start here. This tweet yesterday, I usually pay no attention to this. Usually I pay zero attention whatsoever to the ratings debate, the ratings argument, all of this type of stuff. I love watching basketball. If you don't like it, you don't care about watching it, that's fine. That's all good. But I've just never really cared all that much to discuss the ratings. SJ tweeted this yesterday, and it's they pay people a lot of money to figure this stuff out, and they'll figure it out. Okay, but I have some opinions. And you know what? If I were to have a sit-down meeting with Adam Silver, which, Adam, I'm open to, man. My phone line is open, man. Hit me up, Adam. But, to have this conversation about how the league can grow and sort of recover a little bit from what has been a bit of a downturn ratings-wise. Now, let's start here. Because anytime this gets brought up, people always say, oh, well, this doesn't really count because nobody really watches the streams legally. That's what everybody always says. I think that's cope by NBA fans at large. Sure, maybe if I had to guess, NFL probably has the most illegal streams. Maybe even combat sports because of their pay to watch model. But the NBA, yeah, I'm sure that they have quite a bit of illegal streams happening. But to think that that's some huge chunk of the numbers, I would say is incorrect. Now, I don't know their method of putting ratings together. Because I would say the NBA's audience is the youngest amongst all of the professional sports. Okay? It is more catered towards a younger generation that is not going to watch sports in the traditional manner, meaning I'm not going to tune into ESPN on my TV. I'm going to stream those games. So I could be wrong here, but I'm not sure that the ratings model has fully caught up to that just yet. And I do think that's absolutely a thing. Okay. So let's look at this. Viewership in the NBA has been declining per Awful announcing. ESPN's opening doubleheader averaged 1.6 million viewers, down 42% from 2023's debut with Victor Wembanyama. So let's start right there. I feel like that's immediately kind of one of the problems with the NBA currently, but also this kind of throws it out. That ESPN doubleheader on Wednesday night featured the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Philadelphia 76ers. And if you recall that game, no Chris Middleton for the Bucks. Okay, whatever. You'll still tune in to watch Giannis and Dame. But no Joel Embiid and no Paul George for the Philadelphia 76ers. Well, guess what? I'm not watching that shit. If I'm a casual fan, I'm tuning that the fuck off. I don't care anymore. But also, if you were like me and a sicko fan, we streamed on playback.tv/highlybiased during these games. We did not watch a second of that game, I don't think. We watched other games on League Pass. There's more exciting games on League Pass. We don't care to watch the Skeleton Squad Sixers square off against, the Bucks. And let's not forget, the second game of that doubleheader was the Suns versus Clippers. Oh, of course, Kawhi Leonard's not playing for the Clippers. Guess what? People tuned out. That's it. People's brains, it's not difficult to understand sometimes. Oh, the other team's star player's not playing? All right, I'm out. Suns vs. Clippers got 1.5 million viewers, down 49% from last year's comparable game. Is a comparable game the Wemby debut? That's not really that comparable, to be honest with you. But yeah, the viewership is down. TNT's Thursday night game, Spurs versus Mavericks, 1.45 million viewers, a 29% decrease from previous year's comparable game. I don't remember what last year's game was, but that, this is also kind of the problem. And this is a dilemma for the NBA, kind of a can't-win situation. Is you want to set up stars moving forward. You want to make sure that, casual fans and fans that kind of only tune in for the national games are getting a view of these young up-and-coming stars. So you want people to see Victor Wembanyama more and more and more and more. So when he's, finally clicking, and we'll talk about him here in a bit, but when he's finally clicking and the Spurs are good, everybody's tuned in. Everyone knows what they're looking for, right? The problem is with that is the Spurs aren't good. So I don't think they're really a draw just yet. And I don't think Victor is that big of a draw just yet. Because for all of the incredible stuff Victor does, his biggest strength as a player currently is his defense. That doesn't really sell in the NBA. Like, it's really hard to sell that to fans. ESPN's Friday game, Pacers versus Knicks, 830,000 viewers. Fewer than a college football game on ESPN2. God damn. Pacers and Knicks. That low in viewership, huh? Well, that was a blowout game. And I don't know how blowouts affect their viewership numbers. I'm not sure how blowouts affect their viewership numbers, but that was a blowout. So people tuned out probably immediately. So let's get into how can we combat this? What are some, in my opinion, what I think are easy, quick fix solutions to get people to care a little bit more? Okay, we'll talk about some of the bigger stuff here in a second, but the quick fix solutions. Number one, start the fucking games on time. Seriously. It sounds stupid. It sounds just like the easiest fix. That can't possibly matter. I actually think it does, man. The ESPN games and some of these games starting 15, 20 minutes past their scheduled tip-off time is absurd. It actually is. I guarantee you, people, it tunes some people out. Tune in, man. Seriously. Start on time. Okay, that. Secondly, what else can we do? I get that they want to have island games whenever they do the national TV schedules. So you'll see that, especially as the season, really ramps up. The Thursday nights on TNT, there's usually only 2 games. Sometimes maybe 3. You'll have one game just kind of floating in there that's not nationally televised. I get why they do that. They don't want to have any competition with their nationally televised games. I think they should start scheduling more games in that time window and just give themselves some flexibility to flex games if needed, okay? Because the fact of the matter is, it's opening night. You can never predict injuries, right? But it's opening night, and already your opening night ratings are completely and totally tanked because Joel Embiid and Paul George aren't playing. So guess what? Nobody's watching. You're done. There's nothing you can do at that point from a rating standpoint. It's over and done with, okay? People are not going to be tuned in. People don't fucking care, right? So you need to have more flexibility in the games that you flex in, flex out. And that also could be, we get to certain points in the season. The NFL does this. It's easier for the NFL because there's so few games and you have a week notice and there's, everybody plays on the same day pretty much. But NFL does this where, hey, if your team is shit, we're taking you off. We're taking you off national TV. Unless you're on a Thursday or Monday night. You're done. I think the NBA should follow this, honest to God. NBA should follow this method. This team is fun and exciting. We didn't really expect it before the season started. Let's flex them into some more games. Okay? So those are just some, I think, easy, quick fix things that they could do to help improve ratings. How about some more deeper things? Okay? This has bugged me for so long. So long this has bugged me. This has bugged me for so long. You give your rights to ESPN. You let them talk about your sport. Okay? They broadcast your sport. Now, from ESPN's side of things, you want people to tune into the games. That's the entire point. Folks, the ESPN exists and is as popular as it is because they have rights to broadcast sporting events. Nothing else. I know ESPN has sort of diluted themselves in past years into thinking that the reason why people tune in is for their personalities and all their shows. No. People tune in because you broadcast sporting events. That's it. Right? And you just so happen to have shows on during the day that people then gravitate to. So, it makes sense from ESPN's side to, in their daily morning talk shows and all this shit to hype up the teams, hype up the players, hype up the games that they're going to be broadcasting. Does ESPN do that? Rarely, no. What does ESPN do? They spend most of their time shitting all over your league. I mean, just shitting all over it. The national media's coverage of the NBA, by and large, is like 80% negativity. 80% negativity. We're either talking about how boring the league is currently, how this player can't do this team can't do this player sucks because X, Y, and Z, this player's not as good as a player 20 years ago because X, Y, and Z, this player couldn't play 30 years ago because X, Y, and Z. And then they end all of that by saying, oh, but tonight, make sure you tune in to the Bucks and the Pacers. Literally a 5-minute segment. Tyrese Halliburton couldn't have played in the 90s. It was too physical. Tyrese Halliburton could never have made it. Tune in tonight. Tyrese Halliburton plays the Bucks. It's like, wait, you just told me he was shit. Why am I tuning in? You just told me that they suck. Oh, 3-point variance has ruined the league. It's terrible. They would never have played like this 20 years ago when it was just mid-range variance and everyone just shot the shittiest mid-range shot you've ever fucking seen. But now they shoot 3-pointers and now I hate it. Tune in tonight, though. It's like, well, you just told me it sucked. Why would I tune in? And then your other major media partner, who will not be your media partner moving forward, but just this year, TNT deploys a halftime and postgame show where they spend the entire hour shitting all over your league. I mean, I've never seen this. No other league acts like this. No, the national media for every other league does not behave in this manner. Okay? They only talk about a handful of teams. That's right. If I'm silver in the league, I'm putting my foot down. I'm going to Amazon. I'm saying, hey, we're not letting you guys do what ESPN's done. You want to broadcast our league? Cool. But we're putting our foot down, man. NFL does this. I guarantee you. NFL controls what people talk about in the national media. There's a reason why they don't talk a lot about head injuries. It's sort of a taboo topic. NFL fucking came down on that. There's a reason why head injuries the conversation describing head injuries sort of start and stop with like, oh, that's sad. And not like, damn, this is dangerous, huh? Everyone talks about head injuries. Does ESPN talk about head injuries? I know people talk about head injuries. Does ESPN spend time on their show talking about head injuries in any real significant capacity? McAfee did? That's crazy. McAfee is on ESPN, man. That is actually crazy. I just don't like how ESPN and TNT don't have legitimate basketball analysts anymore. So I thought about this yesterday. Obviously, NBA is a star-driven league, right? Star-driven league. The most star-driven league in all of sports. The stars are at the forefront. You win because of your stars. NBA stars can become super mega celebrities. They're super marketable. All of this, right? I think that bleeds into coverage of the sport. You watch ESPN. ESPN has tricked themselves. This has happened over time. It's the Stephen A. Smith problem. It's happened over time where they've tricked themselves and have gone from, hey, people come to us for just sports coverage and, wall-to-wall sports coverage and live sporting events. They've tricked themselves into then thinking, actually, people come to us for our media personalities. That's what we need to do. We're an entertainment network now. We're not necessarily a sports network. And so it feels like NBA coverage has just turned into big personalities being big personalities and not talking about the NBA, not fully covering the NBA. They're not sitting down and watching TNT. You watch a TNT broadcast. Chuck is openly bragging about not watching. It's the strangest thing, man. Just the way that NBA is covered by their media partners, by the networks that carry their league is strange to me. And I think it might have an effect on ratings, honest to God. I really do. I think it might have an effect on ratings. Now, from the gameplay side of things, the officiating has gotten out of control. Too many whistles. You've really got to figure out, one, how can we limit the number of whistles and stoppages in our game while still keeping the game competitive and fair? But also, two, we have to figure out what we are calling night to night. We can't be doing this ref crew does this ref crew does this. When you tune into an NBA game, you really have no idea what the fuck you're going to see from an officiating point of view. We have to lock in and figure out ways that we can call these games as consistently as possible. Because just from a Mavericks fan's perspective, I've watched a couple games this season. Game against the Timberwolves. Got a little ticky-tacky at times, but game against the Timberwolves, game against the Jazz. They are, they let them play physical. It was a very physical brand of basketball. Fun to watch from a viewer's perspective. Then I watched a game against the Suns where they're calling every single touch foul. And it's horrible to watch. And it's just confusing. It's very confusing. Stoppages have to get fixed. There's just too many timeouts, man. There's just way too many. I know you have to milk this audience for every penny you can get with these ad breaks and stuff, but man, don't you think in the long term it would be better for your league if you just kind of toned down these ad breaks? I feel like more people would watch. Long term, it would probably be for the best. It would probably be better long term. Probably be better long term if fans were like, oh, I know I can tune into an NBA game without being just blasted by ads. Just bombarded. Stoppages, I've already said this a million times. The replay stoppages, there's no reason, no rhyme or reason for replay stoppages to take 5 minutes. And I will say this, okay? When you go to a game, you notice this, is that replay stoppages are just convenient little excuses for them to cram in another 5-minute ad break. Because a lot of times they'll go to the monitor, it'll take them 10 seconds, and they'll announce it, and then we just spend the next 4 minutes in a commercial break. And then they kind of frame like, oh, we just got back, and here's the word. And it's just like, no, they said that actually 4 minutes ago, and we've been sitting in an ad break since. Have to curtail that. And then we get to the deeper sort of, I do think 3-point variance has had an effect on some of this. I'm not a believer in the 3-point shot is ruining the game. I'm not a believer in everybody shoots threes, everybody plays the same way. That's been a popular narrative lately. That's just so untrue. I mean, I don't know how you could watch the NBA And think that my chat has just been freezing lately. I don't know what the fuck is going on here, man. So yes, everybody shoots threes now. The way the teams go about it is different, though. So to act as if everybody is just bombing threes and it looks the exact same is incorrect to me. Morning, Josh. But what is 3-point variance? What's the problem 3-point variance has, though? It leads to way more blowouts. And so I do think you get people tuning out because, oh, this team has a 20-point lead in the second quarter. Now, if you watch basketball a lot, you know that in the last couple of years, a 20-point lead really is kind of a 12-point lead. Vlone is gifted 10 memberships. God damn. But the league has been, peace out, Vlone. High roller. We're building you a statue outside the club. But the league has always been a copycat league. And when it wasn't 3-point shots, it was mid-range shots. I mean, it's always been like this, right? Always. I don't know what the solution could be there for the 3-point thing. Expanding the 3-point line, maybe getting rid of corner threes, maybe. I saw an offensive 3 seconds in the corner. That one is kind of interesting to me. That maybe keeping the corner three there, but you can't just camp in the corner. That one is sort of interesting. Also, changing from what I've seen, these are too extreme. I know they are, but you know the NBA adding a 3-point line in general was extreme, and they did it. What about the starting times for us European guys? Okay, can I just be completely honest with you? They don't care. And I don't say that trying to be mean. I'm saying the league does not care about making sure European start times make sense. But, you know, every now and then they do, though. Like, you know, I don't think it's a coincidence that a lot of these matinee games, these Saturday day games, these Sunday day games, a lot of times they do feature like a European star or something. But they're not going to like, hey, we start at 4 p.m. on this Wednesday afternoon because we want to start at 10 p.m. in Europe. Like, that's not going to be something that they do. I've seen people say make a 2-pointer 3 points and a 3-pointer 4 points. You just get it you just get into such a weird territory there with the changing of scoring and the you know, the record books and stuff like that. Although I guess they could go back and just retroactively change everyone's stats, but I don't know. I like NBA basketball. I don't get the 3-point discussion. I think it's just because 3-point variance in math means there are more blowouts. It does mean that leads don't really feel safe anymore. But I don't know what they fix. I don't know how they fix it, to be honest with you. Another thing I thought. Let me look at this. F1 ratings after show. So I love the idea of the starting 5 show on Netflix. Obviously next year NBA is going to Amazon. Going to be really, really interesting, right? I think that they need to do a similar show to the F1 show. The F1 show comes out on Netflix. People really, really like it. Their ratings absolutely skyrocket in the United States after that. Now, a lot of that has to do with the fact that F1 wasn't really a sport that people paid any attention to in the United States, and the show sort of shined a light on what this sport was, and people were like, oh, I find that interesting. I'm going to tune in now. But I like the idea of a show that sort of follows teams around, similar. Starting five is too casual. I mean, I don't know if anyone would tune into the starting five and be like, I need to watch the NBA this upcoming season. Like it was more of just a character piece of all of the guys in the league. Does that make sense? More than anything else, it was just kind of like a character. Hey, look how Sabonis is. Look how cool Sabonis is and how nice of a dad he is. It's like, okay, well, I'm not tuning into Kings games because of that. I would like Amazon has shows like these, but I would like a Hard Knocks type of show. But instead of following one team, it just follows storylines. And we get it weekly. They can turn these things out weekly. They could churn these things out weekly, and we could, follow the league in a way that's interesting, and Amazon could position it as, hey, tune into this show, but also, hey, guess what? Wednesday night. It's like, can you start the show over and repeat everything you said since the beginning? I just got here. Yeah, I got you. Hold on. Hey, guys. All right. Welcome into Slightly Early, a show about basketball. Today we're going to be talking about, anyways, this ratings conversation. There's some interesting things like the face of the league conversation. When LeBron and Steph are gone, who's going to be the big draw? We're waiting. Anthony Edwards has not made himself that guy yet. Tatum is not a draw whatsoever. Victor Wembanyama is not good enough yet. This guy's not falling. I think some of this has to do with the media rights deals changing and what's going on there. I'm interested to see how this looks moving forward. It can't be Luka, but I honestly think it could. No, I think it could be Luka, actually. I've changed my stance on this. I think Luka, if the Mavericks keep winning at high levels, I think Luka is like, hey, you need to tune in to see what this guy's going to do tonight. It usually comes down to winning a lot. That's what the faces of the league do. Win a bunch. And that's also a thing, too. There's been a lot of parity in the league. There hasn't been a repeat champion in quite some time. Dynasties sell. And one of the things, as much as we don't like dynasties, in the moment, dynasties do sell. They get people glued to their TVs. A thing I'm worried about, though, is this Celtics dynasty does not have any juice whatsoever. If the Celtics team does turn into a dynasty, they have no juice. They're homegrown. They've kind of been building towards it. There's no you think about to recent dynasties. They're very similar to the Spurs. The Spurs dynasty was a little bit spaced out, so it was kind of weird. But the Spurs dynasty, they built their team. There wasn't a whole lot of drama and intrigue behind it. It was just, they went out and took care of business, which was fine. But some of the other dynasties, the Heatles, right? Well, LeBron goes to Miami to form a super team. That's fucking awesome. The Warriors, this jump shooting team. We've never seen something like this before. Oh, and now they add Kevin Durant, who they just beat after they just came back down 3-1 against in the conference finals. Huge storyline, massive storyline. We must tune in. LeBron going to the Cavs. LeBron's back in Cleveland. Massive storyline. We must tune in. Are you saying they have no juice because the cap won't let them keep that team together very long? No, I'm saying they have no juice in the sense that, are people going to care about, what's the big storylines from the Celtics team? They've had Tatum and Brown together for 8 years. That's great. Great team building. I mean, great team building. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm saying from a casual fan's perspective, what's going to make you be like, ooh, the Celtics. Remember that Celtics team? Man, that was so fun rooting for them, rooting against them. I don't think it. I don't think that that's what it is. We did it. And Tatum, I think Tatum seems like a really nice guy. He doesn't have the juice. There's stories being written right now. True. Hunter, welcome to Side Delusional Club. And this is something that can change over time, right? A player can leave. Jaylen Brown can want out or something, and they have to rebuild their dynasty on the fly. Like that all that could happen. But, face of the league. It's been a conversation for quite some time. Why is this taking me to ESPN Plus? I don't want to fucking be at ESPN Plus. Let's talk about some of the games last night. Face of the league, who could it be? Anthony Edwards, Victor Wembanyama. Well, folks, we need to have a Victor Wembanyama conversation because he's had a very porous start to this NBA season. Very disappointing start to this NBA season. The Spurs are 1-3. They look like a bad basketball team, which we expected to happen, but we were sort of hoping and banking on Victor Wembanyama turning into Victor Wembanyama. I kind of thought this was the year we'd see the leap, and there's still time. He was a second half of the season last year is when he started going crazy. So he could just be somebody who takes some time to get going when the season starts. He looks sluggish right now. I'll say this. There's some Spurs fans out there, and I saw this, and I don't know, is there something about this, that he has really bad allergies, and that they just think his allergies are really kicking his ass right now. That is something that I've seen, and maybe that's true. And maybe that is true. But Victor Wembanyama, there's a problem here, and let me explain what it is. This is not a breakout year for Victor Wembanyama. All of the things that you thought was going to happen with Vic, that he was going to be a top 10 player, maybe even make his way into the top 5, maybe get some MVP love or whatever the case may be, it's not happening this year. Let me explain why. Victor Wembanyama needs to spend an entire summer, this upcoming summer hopefully, working on his interior game. Currently, his game is far too perimeter-oriented, and it doesn't work. He's not efficient on the perimeter. And you've seen teams did this last year. Every team that they have played so far this year has managed to neutralize Victor Wembanyama. All but one game. He had one good game against the Rockets so far this season. Every team that has played him has managed to neutralize him by just putting their, beefier forward on him. Not their center, their beefier forward. The Mavericks pretty much took him out of the game at times by putting PJ Washington on him, by putting Maxi Kleber on him. Two guys that are 5, 6, 7 inches shorter than Victor Wembanyama, but they're strong guys and physical defenders. And Vic has zero answer to that. He pops off in their first home game against the Spurs, against the Rockets, 29 points, 10 of 17. But also, they put Dylan Brooks on Victor Wembanyama and made his life very uncomfortable. Then the Thunder game last night, the Thunder, this whole Chet Wemby rivalry. Chet really doesn't guard him at all. They put J-Dub on him. Completely take him out of the game because J-Dub's a strong player. He made one shot. Yeah. Chet's a better player right now than Wemby. Yes. So far this season, at least. He's more polished. Chet can finish around the rim. Chet is a good interior game. And that expands out to his outside game. Right now, Victor Wembanyama is just not... He needs something he can go to inside, in the post. A post fade, a hook, something. He needs a dominant move inside. If you put a shorter forward on me in an effort to kind of bully me around a little bit, I've gotten stronger. I can handle that, but also too, I have a post fade that's unstoppable. I'll just shoot over him every time. Or I have a post hook. Once I get 10 feet away from the basket, it's automatic. He does not have that right now. His interior scoring leaves a lot to be desired. A lot. And yes, his supporting cast is bad. Chris Paul is... I think Chris Paul will help him over the course of the season for sure. We're so early. We're 4 games into the season. It's been a disappointing start to the season, though. Full stop. I mean, I can't help but feel disappointed in Wemby. I've gotten so much shit for how much I like Wemby. And how much I say this guy's going to be a future great. But he needs to work on his game quite a bit, man. He has no consistent go-to way of scoring, man. His game is so perimeter-oriented right now, and he's not efficient. He's shooting 19% from 3 so far this season. He's only taking 5.5 attempts per 75 possessions at the rim, man. And I think what's more damning is last season, 74% of his shots were assisted. So far to start the season, 36% of his shots have been assisted. So the idea that this Chris Paul addition, by the way, this Thunder thing, I'm being dead serious when I say this, everybody gathered around the interviewer and barking thing needs to go. I'm not taking you seriously as a championship team until you get rid of it. I'm being dead fucking serious. I'm actually being serious. I'm not taking you seriously until you get rid of this gimmick. Has a team ever won being this goofy? I really don't think so. I actually don't. Anyways. He's going to be a great defensive player. 4 turnovers last night, 2 assists. Maybe Vic should slide in as a small forward. I mean, he plays like a guard. God forbid a team is united and unique. No, that's all cool. I'm not making fun of them for having fun. I'm saying from a winning at the highest level perspective, they got to have more killer. I'm sorry. It sounds stupid, but I think it's true. And I do agree with you, Organic, that I think the Spurs are kind of playing a dangerous game here with Wemby's development. They're obviously still trying to tank. Like, they're trying to be a rebuilding team. They could have easily gone out and said, let's get this guy, this guy, this guy. Pairs really well next to Wembanyama. We have so many picks. We have money to spend. We can do a whole lot of things. And we can be better. Did you see Draymond talk about their postgame not being a sign of a true contender? Did he actually say that? Wait, when did he say that? That's hilarious. Hey, don't take it from me. Draymond's a 4-time champion. But he has to come in next season. And I don't think that's something you develop over the course of the season. It has to be a summer thing. He has to come in next season stronger. And he has to come in next season with some type of interior scoring move that he can go to. A go-to scoring move that opens up everything. I mean, if he had a post hook, if he had a fadeaway, if he had something like that, everything else would be so much easier for him offensively. Genuinely. Everything would be so much easier. The 3-ball would open up. The offense would just open up for him. And right now it's just forced and frantic because everything's on the perimeter. It just feels like he wants to shoot a 3 every single time he touches the ball. So you think the NBA has the current iteration of Wemby solved? I mean, there wasn't a lot to solve. You know, it's like he was great last year. I mean, he's a phenomenal defender. But offensively, it wasn't like he was this unstoppable force a year ago. He had great games, and he's going to have great games. He shoots a lot of threes and stuff like that. So he's going to have great games. His step-back shooting numbers and everything, he's going to be a good shooter. Like he just is. All signs point to him being a good shooter. And he's just kind of in a shooting slump to start the season, so that skews the numbers a little bit as well. But right now, when his 3-ball's not falling, his offensive game is disgusting. I didn't watch this game live. What was the reason for only 5 attempts? Again, J-Dub, like, stronger players take him out. It was a thing last year. It was really a thing so far to start the season. And the Spurs are kind of a mess. And the Thunder defensively are unbelievable. Unbelievable how good the Thunder are. They had 18 steals last night. I mean, they get their hands on everything. And when a guy drives and gets deep in the paint, and you just have Caruso coming in, swiping at the ball. You have Dort coming in, swiping at the ball. It's a fucking nightmare, man. It is a nightmare. Yeah, Chet's playing great to start the season, man. He had a good game again last night. He really might win Defensive Player of the Year. Keldon Johnson, Branham, and Sohan, just ignore him. I will say, Sohan and Wemby's 2-man game is interesting. I think those two could play alongside each other for a long time. It's figuring out all these other pieces. Keldon can go. Absolutely. Keldon's not a piece for them moving forward, I don't think. He'll be on a new team. But by the time the Spurs are good, Keldon will not be in the equation, I don't think. Branham has some, individual flashes as a scorer. But just something to watch moving forward, man. Vassell, yeah, Devin Vassell's not here. He'll be back, so that'll help them out. That'll help them look better offensively. But to start the season, 4 games in, I just haven't seen what I've wanted to see from Wemby so far. And I just saw Zach Lowe tweet as we were talking about this. That makes sense. Is Sohan's shot is just not there. His shot looks terrible. He doesn't shoot. So teams put centers on him. It would be different if the Spurs sort of had 4 other shooters next to Wemby, and it was like impossible to put the forward on Wemby. You had to put a center on him. That would be a little bit different. So the team around him is a mess as well. Dim, if you had to predict when will the OKC get their first loss, I don't know. I would not have picked the Celtics to lose to the Pacers, so I don't know. Let's just briefly touch on some of the games from last night. Today was more of a ratings talk / Wemby talk, but let's get into some of it. We're not going to spend too much time. The Hornets beat the Raptors 138-133. A couple of notes and tidbits from this game. Trey Mann, start talking to your children about a Trey Mann 6th Man of the Year candidacy. Is it true that you thought Trey Mann was a dark horse 6th Man of the Year candidate entering the season? That is true. I did say that. Guys, please take it easy, guys. Seriously, take it easy. But Trey Mann, 27 points, 10 of 19 from the field in this game. And for the Raptors, hold on a second. Grady Dick might be here, and he might be dicking that thing down. 30 points, 11 of 17, 2 of 6. The Grady Dick looks good, folks. He looks good. Yeah, that one was out. I'm sorry. I don't know. That one didn't even feel fun coming out of my mouth, really. Cavaliers blast the Lakers. It was funny, we were talking about this on the stream. The Lakers look horrible in this game. They look completely and totally dead from the moment the ball tips off. Their transition defense has been absolutely abysmal so far this season. It was absolutely abysmal in this game. That is a sign of a team that's just not really ready to play basketball. And we're joking around. The Lakers, who started 3-0, are now 3-2. And given their very, very difficult schedule, first 5 games, I think 3-2 you take for sure. So I think they're happy about that. But we were wondering, considering the fact that they started 3-0, what is the number? What is the number where people are like, wait, JJ might actually stink? I don't think he does, but I'm saying, what is the number where Lakers fans start saying that? That will be interesting to watch. This roster has some flaws. I'm happy I never fully walked back my walk back on the Lakers. But, hey, 3-2 after this tough start to the season, schedule-wise, is still pretty impressive. And I think we do need to take the Lakers seriously. But, Max Chris, they just need some upgrades. And I think they will. I think they'll be aggressive at the deadline. So, but the Cavs are 5-0, and they look great. They look phenomenal. Mobley's been unbelievable to start the season. Jared Allen was a fucking beast last night. They look really good, man. Really good. And shout out to Ty Jerome as well. He's really been hooping for them off the bench. Celtics get their first loss of the season, losing a wild overtime game to the Pacers. The Celtics were down 20 in this game. The Pacers, I want to say, had a 14-point lead with about 4 minutes left. And the Celtics came storming back, took this game to overtime, where the Pacers pulled it out in the end. A really, really nice win for this Indiana team, who really needed to win like this. Pascal Siakam was awesome, hit the game-winning 3 in this game, had a very, very clutch and tough mid-range bucket as well in this one. Nice to see. Halliburton struggled a little bit again, but he did have 12 assists, 1 turnover, so you got to give him props there. But some plays down the stretch from Halliburton that were head-scratching, and he was a big reason why this game ended up going to overtime in a bad way. I'm saying that in a bad way. But a couple other things to monitor. Miles Turner doesn't play in this game. Isaiah Jackson plays really well. And there are some grumblings, some mumblings in Pacers land that Isaiah Jackson should maybe be starting over Miles Turner. Andrew Nembhard, I'm trying to figure out what happened here. They said there was tweets during the game. He only plays 5 minutes. Tweets during the game that Nembhard got benched, but then now he has now it came out that he had a knee tendonitis thing. So I think that he's injured. I don't think there's a benching there. That'd be a little bit wild, even for Rick. But Benedict Mathurin finally gets his chance to shine. 43 minutes, he drops 30 points, 9 of 17, 10 of 11 from the free throw line. Ben Math looked great off the bench, making things happen. A really nice win for this Indiana Pacers team, and a really fun game. And it's funny, I was looking at, I saw some Celtics fans talking after the game. They've reached this point, and this is just, I really hope one day I reach this point with my sports teams where they don't, they're just like, oh man, nice win by the Pacers. Like, that's it. There's no referendum on whether or not this team can win a championship or anything like that. Every game isn't uses a measuring stick game where every loss is like, oh, see, they can't win a championship. Oh, no, they can't win, actually. See, they lost that game. It's just the regular season's just to have fun. Interesting, too. Drew Holiday doesn't play in closing time. Neither does Al Horford. It was Peyton Pritchard out there. Pritchard had a good game in this one. Again, Jaylen Brown had a stinker. 25 points, 11 of 30 from the field. Tatum, 5 of 18. They shot 57 threes, man. I mean, it's kind of getting ridiculous, the amount of threes that they're putting up there. So a nice win for the Indiana Pacers. The Pistons, my Detroit Pistons, get their first win of the season. Yes, sir. They beat the 76ers 105-95. Tobias Harris revenge games, 18 points, 14 rebounds. I think I saw a Sixers fan tweet out that he only got double-digit rebounds like 3 times in the last 2 seasons or some shit like that. I don't remember the exact stat. He's done it 3 times in 5 games. So that's pretty hilarious. Cade Cunningham looked good in this game. Jaden Ivey, guys. Jaden Ivey's really having a strong start to this season. And I think it's time we start taking him seriously. This is a top 5 pick, man. Only a few years ago. This is year number 3 for Jaden Ivey. He's been in a weird spot for, his whole career next to Cade. And he's really starting to blossom into a good player. A big reason for that, 42% from 3, 5.5 attempts per game, 21 points. He's so quick. He's so explosive. That 3 ball is serious for him. Then he really starts to complement Cade really well. And he kind of blossoms into a great player of his own. So really, really impressive start for Jaden Ivey. You got to feel really good about that. If you're a Pistons fan, and there's something else to monitor here. No, Jalen Duren, I did not get hurt. He fouled out in 11 minutes. Duren's been bad. And I think it might be time that we completely and totally rethink what we thought about Jalen Duren, if we thought anything about him at all. I don't think he's a basketball player you can win with. Just honest to God. That's just the way he plays. Terrible defensively. Boneheaded mistakes. It sounds harsh, but it might be true. And for the Philadelphia 76ers, Tyrese Maxey, 32 points. I mean, this team is not... if I were a Sixers fan, I mean, what do you even do if you're a Sixers fan? I wouldn't even be watching. Like, this team is entirely built around Joel Embiid and Paul George to complement those 2 guys, with Tyrese Maxey being the ultimate, second, third option. I mean, what is going on there? Embiid's playing 5-on-5 now. Was there an injury that we were not told about? I am so confused by that whole... He got fined $100,000. I'm so confused by that entire situation. It's so confusing to me. What do you mean he's playing 5-on-5? What the fuck? He should have been playing 5-on-5. Like, what the hell happened? Embiid's been cleared to play 5. Cleared from what? Fat? The Atlanta Hawks playing the Washington Wizards. Another bad loss for the Hawks. Let's cut the Hawks some bail. They were missing Dyson Daniels in this game, who currently leads the league in deflections, by the way. Saw that stat today. Without Dyson Daniels, without DeAndre Hunter, who, I'm not too fond of as a player, but he is pretty important for them, especially defensively with all these other guys out. No Bogdan as well. So keep that in mind. But yet another disappointing loss for the Hawks, who have lost 2 straight games to the Washington Wizards. Oh, Trey with 35 and 15. Jalen Johnson at 21 and 17. Defensively, this team is terrible, and it is just it's the Okongwu. The Okongwu thing is so infuriating. I think we just have to call it what it is with him. Maybe he's just an infuriating player. Like, that's just it. But for the Wizards, Bilal Coulibaly. I won't speak too much. I think I might be doing a Bilal Coulibaly video here later today. 27 points, 9 rebounds, 3 steals and a block. Woo! He might be something serious, folks. He might be something serious. Early season. Early days, love. Early days. The Knicks beat the Heat. Another lethargic showing from the Heat's big 2, Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. But let's talk about Big Bodega. Karl Anthony Towns, 44 points, 13 rebounds. That was the aggressive Karl Anthony Towns that we know is there. This is why I was saying I'm not worried about the Knicks whatsoever after their 1-2 start to the season. Karl Anthony Towns just had 8 shots in their last game, whatever it was. Lots to talk about that. They'll figure this stuff out. This is all a work in progress. Karl Anthony Towns is still such a talented offensive player. All of his flaws as a player they're there for sure. But offensively, he is so talented. So talented. And when he gets downhill, when he just feels it and he's going in the post, he's pretty much unstoppable. So you saw that last night, 44 points for him. Jalen Brunson with 22, 6 of 18. Struggled a little bit from the field, but still played well, I thought. And, a nice win for the Knicks. They go on a huge second half run in this one. The Heat kind of looked like they were in control for like the first, 30 minutes of game time, and then it just completely slipped. Tyler Hero was awesome. He's had an incredible start to the season. 34 points, 8 of 13 from 3, 7 assists as well, only 1 turnover. Tyler Hero is really playing well. That's got to be encouraging if you are a fan of the Miami Heat. He's 43% from 3 so far this season, playing efficient basketball, not turning the ball over too much, 22 points per game, doing all of the things. They got the deep voice cat that night. Yeah, doing all the things you wanted Tyler Hero to do. The problem is Jimmy Butler takes 9 shots. Doesn't look like he is checked in whatsoever. Bam Adebayo takes 7 shots. I can live with Bam taking 7 shots, actually, but he did get cooked defensively, and sometimes it happens. Cat went off, whatever, shake his hand. Jimmy getting 9 shots, I don't really understand this, because Jimmy's Jimmy's in a contract year. That's what I really don't get. Is anyone around the league looking at this like, yep, I'm maxing him? I don't know, man. It is so strange and bizarre. So strange and bizarre. The Bulls and the Magic play a hilarious game. The Bulls get an impressive win. The Bulls are 3-2, and they've really played pretty good basketball here to start the season. I don't know what this means for them moving forward. I was a little bit higher on them than most. But a hilarious game here where the fourth quarter, we go about 5 to 6 minutes of game time in the fourth quarter where neither team makes a field goal. I think there was an 0 of 20 stretch combined from the field. Just absolutely unbelievable. Does show that Paolo has taken some strides forward. He had 31 points last night. I thought his fourth quarter was a little bit tough, so I think he didn't play as well as the stats might indicate. But that also is a sign of a big leap as well. Is when a guy doesn't play well and you look and it's like 31 points on 12 of 22. But he took some questionable shots in the fourth quarter that missed. Almost had that crazy game-tying shot with 0.1 seconds left. You need 0.3 to get a shot off. But he did make this crazy little tap from half court. I don't even know how the hell he got that off. Franz Wagner is clearly dealing with some type of illness or something. Only plays 23 minutes in this game. So he's going through something. There's some rumors, speculation across Magic fandom that maybe this illness is not just affecting Franz Wagner, but other players on the team. Something to monitor. KCP's yet to get going. KCP is yet to get going with this Magic team. I'm sure he'll figure it out. And Jalen Suggs, this is still reminders. The Magic got off to a great start this season. They look like a very good basketball team. Maybe they are the second or third best team in the East. I don't know. But they're still a young team, and they're going to have games like these. Games where Jalen Suggs, the game looks so fast, and he's playing at such a frantic pace, which is not really what you want from your point guard, especially down the stretch of games. But those are all things that they're learning, all things that they're working on. Paolo's still going to have, things that he's learning, things that he's working on. He's still going to have moments where he looks like a young player. Same with Franz. KCP's getting, acclimated to this new team. So it's not all going to be gravy for this Magic team. Anthony Black looks really good. I know his stats weren't great last night, but he's a player. He's ready to go. Need a point guard-itis? They might have need a point guard-itis. Dennis Schroeder, folks. But for the Bulls, they're 3-2. Josh Giddey, when do we have to say, hey, guys, Josh Giddey's been playing well? I still see the memes and the jokes. Anytime Caruso gets a steal, I see like a fuck you Chicago thing. I'm like, you guys know Giddey's been pretty good, right? Like, Giddey's been pretty good in Chicago. He's playing pretty well for them, actually. He's hitting his threes. They just look like a more competent basketball team when he has the ball in his hands and the offense is going through him. So I'm just throwing that out there because constantly it's fuck you Chicago. Like that, he's looked pretty good so far. Okay, not a great Zach LaVine game, but Patrick Williams makes plays down the stretch. How about that? The Bulls play at such a frantic pace currently, and they're just bombing threes. So Yeah. Could we get referee relegation based on made call percentages at the end of the season? That's a fun idea, but I think a problem with that is I don't know how many refs they have available. If you watch a college basketball game or your local high school basketball game, you really appreciate how good the NBA refs are. It is just like a shocking, oh, okay, these guys are good. Giddey holding back Shea holding back Giddey. Oh, maybe. Speaking of Dennis Schroeder, the Nets 2-3. One of their losses, an overtime loss to the Denver Nuggets. Uh-oh. Dennis Schroeder has 33 points in this one. Cam Thomas has 19 points. This backcourt looks impressive. Cam Thomas is doing stuff playmaking-wise that are very encouraging moving forward for him. But Dennis Schroeder has been phenomenal so far to start this season and is a big reason why they've looked competitive. If Schroeder was on the Magic, ooh, that makes things interesting. They'd be a better team. They would. Zaire Williams' revenge game, 17 points, 6 of 10 off the bench, had 4 steals and a block in this one. He played well. And the Grizzlies, another loss. We talked a little bit more in detail about them either yesterday or a couple days ago. They're 2-3. A disappointing start to the season, no two ways around it. John Morant looks like he's kind of getting back into the groove of things. Marcus Smart got injured in this game, played 6 minutes. I don't know if there's been an update on him just yet. Desmond Bane got injured in this game. He only played 17 minutes. I don't know if there's an update on this yet. But John Morant and Jaren Jackson are clearly on a minute restriction. Jaren Jackson Jr., I think, is under 30 minutes. He played 28 minutes last night, had 30 points. I mean, they couldn't stop him when he was out on the court. And John Morant under 30 minutes as well. I don't know. I mean, they played their entire rotation last night, guys. Every single player on their rotation got in the game. And Colin Moore played 1 minute. But outside of that, everyone else had like actual rotational minutes. So they were 14 deep last night. $12 deep, 11 deep, whatever. I mean, that's it's a little bit surprising. So they're obviously toying with rotations, and Grizzlies fans are very mad at Taylor Jenkins, but it just kind of appears to me as if he has some directive for minute restrictions. Because otherwise it doesn't make sense. But they seem like they're having a cursed season here so far to start. Speaking of cursed seasons, my Lord, the Pelicans look like shite. 2-3 so far to start the season. What is this? 3 straight losses for the Pelicans after starting 2-1. Their last 4 games, really all of their games have been unimpressive. Even their win against the Bulls on opening night, not very impressive. Their win against the Blazers, they needed a game-winning mid-range jumper by Brandon Ingram. And then a blowout loss to the Blazers, and then 2 blowouts to the Warriors without Steph Curry. They need a center badly. I'm gonna go a step further than that. I think just based off of vibes and stuff like that, I think they need to pull the plug. Maybe. I don't know what. This team's just not it, man. This team is not it. The vibes feel fucking terrible. Zion, 12 points, 5 of 20. He's been pretty bad to start the season. What has Zion improved on in his NBA career? What is one thing that Zion has gotten better at over the course of his NBA career? Yeah. Yeah. Getting fat. Okay. He looks good physically, which is the surprising thing. I don't know. Brandon Ingram looked like he quit in this game. I was watching this game. It was very frustrating. Brandon Ingram looked like he quit at times on the court. I don't know. I mean, they're dealing with so many injuries, obviously. But I mean, look at the rotation they had out there. Jamal Cain played 24 minutes. James Robinson Earl, 23 minutes. Brandon Boston Jr. played 10 minutes. Javonte Green, who's been good for them, actually. I will give Javonte Green some props. 26 minutes. So that you are rocking any show, best social media modern journalism show right now. Thank you. Thank you so much. Warriors, another Warriors win. Buddy Hield has 21 points off the bench. Kuminga 16 off the bench. Brandon Podziemski was a plus 13. He was awesome this game. Moses Moody's been good as well. He's been impactful. But Pods was really good in this one. Yeah, I mean, they're a good basketball team. They play really good defense. They fly around the court. Gary Payton Jr. has been great defensively so far this season. He only played 7 minutes last night, but just in general. They are deep. They are a deep basketball team, 1,000%. I think this Pelicans team is bad, though. Like, I just do. I think their vibes are just beyond repair, it feels like at times. And then the other game, the Trailblazers and Clippers. This game, I watched the end of this game. I ended my playback stream, but I watched the end of this one on my phone, laying in bed. This was a fun game. Anthony Simons hitting some tough shots down the stretch. This Blazers defense can be pretty serious at times. With Tumani Kamara, who's also taken some leaps forward offensively, that's very encouraging. He threw a live dribble lob pass in this game that caught my attention. Denny Avdia has been, shooting wise, it hasn't been there for him yet, but he's making plays for them. He's just been this really good, connective player for them. Good defensively. Scoot Henderson's doing some things that should be encouraging to you. Klingon looks really good in his minutes. Chris Murray, Keegan Murray's brother, played some incredible defense in this game. They got some stuff, man. And they played some really good defense down the stretch of this one. Anthony Simons hit some tough buckets, had some tough finishes over Zubats in this one down the stretch. DeAndre Ayton hit a corner three with a hand in his face in this game. He also took another corner three that almost went in. That would have iced the game. But, yeah, the Clippers had a chance to win it with 4 seconds left, down one, and they turned it over. A horrible inbounds pass by James Harden, trying to get Zubats, who was trying to seal off Ayton. Hadn't sealed him off yet. It was a bad little lob pass. I think just from what it looked like, Harden halfway through throwing it in realized that Ayton hadn't been sealed off yet, and then Ayton gets a steal. Norm Powell had 30 points in this game. Wasn't Harden's best game of the season. 19 and 10 assists, but 6 of 18, had 5 turnovers. And Kevin Porter Jr. has stunk. I said this to you guys. The basketball gods have a weird way of working. These type of guys, the Kevin Porter Jr.'s of the world. Take that 77 off, bro. Take it off. You're really tempting fate. Take that shit off, dude. I saw another 77 last night. Battle. Lots of 77s in the league. Lots of 77s out there. The Luka effect. All right, we got 4 games tonight. We have the Bucks and the Grizzlies. Oh man, that's an interesting game. Grizzlies on the second night of a back-to-back. I wonder what that looks like for them, considering their minute restriction and stuff like that. But second night of a back-to-back, both of these teams desperately need a win. Whichever team loses, the vibes will continue to tank. So that's actually an interesting one to keep an eye on. 2 cheeks of the same ass. Rockets and Mavericks, a little Texas rivalry. In Dallas, Mavs 6.5 point favorites in that one. That should be a fun game. Spurs and Jazz. Spurs on the second night of a back-to-back. Utah's 1.5 point favorites. Both of these teams slow out of the gates. Kind of will be interesting to see how this one looks. I kind of feel like that's a bad matchup for the Spurs, if I'm being honest with you. And then the Suns and the Clippers, second night of a back-to-back for the Clippers. That game's at 9:30. I'll be live on playback.tv/slightlybiased to watch the Mavs game tonight. Make sure you guys come and tune in. It'll be a whole lot of fun. I'm here to tell you guys. I told my playback stream last night, but I'm here to tell you guys. I talked to some people at Playback, and by that I mean I asked something in their Discord server, and the pause feature is something that could be on its way out. So that's exciting. By the way, here's this tweet right here as we were about to leave. Giannis Antetokounmpo could force his way out of Milwaukee. There's a rising sense of confidence that if things go badly in Milwaukee, that Giannis could be available for trade, would really force his way out of Milwaukee in the next year. That almost feels inevitable at this point, huh? I kind of feel bad for the Bucks fans. This has been talked about so long, even after winning a championship. But at this point, the vibes are so strange that it feels like it really could happen. We'll see what happens tonight. We'll just go game day by day. If they win a game, he's staying forever. If they lose, he's getting traded tomorrow. We love that. If you're listening to this on Spotify, leave a 5-star review. It helps out tremendously. Bye-bye. All right, folks. That's it for me. Gonna work on a Bilal Coulibaly video. When it drops, make sure you guys gas it up. Okay? Make sure you guys gas it up. Gas it up, guys. Get that gas, guys. Gas that thing up. All right. Thank you all for coming out. All the OGs, you guys know I love you very much. Could have spent your Thursday morning anywhere in the world you decide to spend it here. New subscribers, I promise you guys will not regret it. Donations, members, thank you guys so much. You never have to do that, but it helps me out tremendously. It makes me feel so good. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. I'll talk to you all in a bit. Love you all. Bye.